What's up, people of YouTube? This is Driftor here, bringing you guys another video to the channel, and today I'm going to be discussing the 3 best guns for Modern Warfare. So if you guys have put any amount of time into the game, you probably have a pretty good idea of what the go-to weapons are, at least at this time. But I want to kind of make this video for those people who are just picking it up over the weekend, or they were busy and they're getting it on Monday, and they just want to know before they get into the game what they should be gravitating towards. So I have 3 weapons here that I think are particularly good for Modern Warfare multiplayer. Keep in mind that these are subject to change just because there's a lot of different things you can do with the guns in this game. You can change the caliber of bullet that they're using, which changes the gun completely. So for example, the AUG can be changed into the AUG assault rifle, or the AK-47 can even be changed into the AK-74U, or the RPK, or the AK-12. So there's a lot of different things you can do with the guns in this game, and these things are subject to change because of that. Now also, there's a lot of patches that come to the game that can balance things out. Some of these guns might get slight nerfs, other guns might get buffs, and that can change the meta of the game. So keep that in mind at this time that I'm making this video, which is about a day after launch. These are the best weapons in Modern Warfare to use in my own personal experience. The first one of these weapons to use is going to be the P90. This one I think is particularly good. I think that it works well at long range, even when it shouldn't. It's obviously not going to be better than an assault rifle at long range, but for that medium to close distance, the P90 absolutely shreds people. I found myself on a lot of maps, minus a couple here and there, where if I wanted to use a P90 or an SMG, I could use this weapon and still do really well, even though it was a map that might not necessarily work well for SMGs most of the time. It has a very manageable recoil pattern. There's not a whole lot of recoil to it to begin with, so that's nice. It's got a pretty good fire rate. It's got a huge magazine, and it does pretty good damage as long as you don't get super far away. So the P90 is super good in this game, in my personal opinion. I would definitely recommend throwing that on a class, using it, seeing how you guys think about it. At first, I would definitely stick to smaller maps, use it where it's the strongest, obviously as an SMG. And as you get more comfortable with it, you can kind of reach out and use more stuff. It's also nice because the iron sights on this weapon are very clean, so you don't have to waste one of your 5-point perks, or whatever you want to call it, for a sight. You can use that in someplace else, whether that's the ammunition, or foregrip, or quick draw handle, or a barrel length, whatever you want to do. It definitely makes a difference, and that is the reason why the P90 is one of the best guns in the game, in my personal opinion. The next weapon that we have here is the Kilo 141. Which, if you guys didn't know, if you are OG Call of Duty fans from Modern Warfare 3 and back, myself being in that group of people, this gun is pretty much the ACR from previous Call of Duty games. It's not as good as the ACR, unfortunately. There are some things that I'll discuss here in a moment about that gun that make it not quite as useful as the old ACR, but this is another one of those weapons that has virtually no recoil. It's not real bad, especially once you get some attachments on there. It's got decent damage and it's got decent fire rate. So this weapon is, in my opinion, almost like an SMG hybrid. It's not super good at long range, but that higher end of the medium range distance up to somewhat closer range is the strong suit for this weapon. A lot of the maps, the choke points, the way that the map flows, where you're going to be stopping enemies is where this gun is going to be the most effective, which is why I recommend using it, especially if you're a low level, because I'm pretty sure it's the first gun you unlock. So it's definitely worth the use. And then as you start to level up through it and get more attachments, I'm currently level 33, I think, for the Kilo, and I have some really good attachments for it. It just gets better and better. So the Kilo is definitely a very, very solid gun for you starting out if you're trying to get your footing and figure out how the game works. Probably the most solid starting assault rifle in the game. Now, it's not quite as good as the OG Modern Warfare ACR because the recoil on it is a little bit more than those games, obviously. The damage is a little bit less, and the fire rate is a little bit less. But it's pretty much, if you look at it, it is the ACR, just not quite as good as the previous ones, unfortunately. Regardless, still a lot of fun to use. Very, very solid gun. Give it a try. Now, the last weapon that I have here for you guys, which I think you all know what gun this is going to be, is the M4A1 assault rifle. So the M4 is an absolute beast. Again, this goes back to the damage, recoil, and fire rate. So the damage on this gun, I think, is what really makes the difference. It's got pretty good damage for what it is. It doesn't have too bad of recoil. I would say it probably has more recoil than the Kilo, but not by a lot. And it definitely has more range than the Kilo. So the M4 is a very, very solid gun. It is, my personal opinion, the best assault rifle in the game, let alone the best weapon, standalone weapon from what I have played with and experienced. So definitely give the M4 a shot. Throw some attachments on it. See what you like about it. The more accurate, the better. The more damage, the better. These are all going to be very important things for your play style, as well as, you know, your experience with the gun and with the game. So the M4, if you get the XRK weapon pack, it comes with a base variant that you can have right away, and you don't have to actually wait to unlock the gun. You can use that M4 right off the bat. So the XRK M4 that you get is very, very accurate. If you look at the stats, it's very accurate, and you lose a little bit of mobility, so it makes it worth it. I would definitely give this weapon a shot in something like Ground War. That's where I think it shines the most. Keep in mind, though, the laser pointer that's on that weapon, your enemies can see that at all times when you're ADSing, so that can be something that can definitely hurt you if you're not careful with how you use that weapon. So anyways, guys, that is everything that I have here for the weapons in the game. These are the best guns in my own personal opinion. These are the weapons that I would recommend you starting out with if you're just getting the game and you're trying to get your footing and kind of figure out how you want to play. Gravitate towards these weapons. As you unlock stuff, as you get used to the game, kind of move out and expand and experiment with other guns. You might find that you really, really love the FAMAS, or you might find that you really, really love the SCAR when it comes out, when you get that unlocked. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please remember to hit that like button. Please subscribe to the channel for more videos. Tons of stuff is coming this year, and deuces.